Hey guys, I'm Rob and I'm a filmmaker, videographer, and YouTuber. And I share video tips, tricks, and secrets to make you better. Now today, you're going to learn about 7 Final Cut Pro tricks and tips that are sure to ease your workflow and in some cases blow your mind. But before we get started, take a quick second to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Guys, this is a lot of good free content and I don't want you to miss it, and it also helps me to keep on producing these kinds of videos for you to make you better. Now let's get off to a strong start with trick number 1, the vertical or social media crop. Okay, here's an example of a YouTube video that we just completed. If you want to see it, it's the last video on my channel before this one. And now we want to export it to Instagram, but Instagram is a vertical format. So what do? Right click the project, select duplicate as. Here you're going to see where it says video, scroll down to vertical, click smart conform, and then rename it to Instagram because that's where we're going to play it next. Click OK, and boom, there we go. There's the Instagram vertical timeline. As you can see, now it's in a vertical format, and the computer did a pretty good job at centering the attention on what we need it to be on. Now there might be a few instances where the center of attention or a face might not be in the middle of the screen. So all you do is click the transform button, and then you're gonna see this button up here on the right. Click that, go to the beginning of the clip, hit your keyframe button, and then move the clip where you want it so it can be positioned in the middle of the vertical clip. Social media has become such a big part of our lives that we use it every day, and now it's being integrated into Final Cut Pro. Now to trick number 2, optical flow. Now sometimes we forget to shoot in 120 frames per second, or we have a camera that isn't able to shoot in slow motion. So what do? This is where optical flow comes into play. Okay, so check out this video clip. It's already recorded in 120 frames per second, but it's not slow enough for me. So what I'm gonna do is click the clip, click the speed button, and I'm gonna slow it down to about 25%. Once that's done, you can see it really looks good, nice and smooth. It's a really good looking shot. What if I want to go a little slower at 10%? Okay, now it's slower, but it's kind of jittery. Okay, what if I want to go down to 5%? Now that's really, really slow. It's getting kind of choppy now. It's in slow motion, but it's not that natural motion blur that we would like. So what do? Click the speed button, go down to video quality, click optical flow. The computer analyzes the clip. It might take a while depending on the length of the clip, but it's gonna get done. Now this is the result. Now it's not gonna be as smooth and sharp as if you had done it correctly the first time by shooting in 120 or 240, but it can pass. And if you don't keep it up on screen too long, no one will really notice. If you're enjoying this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you want to see more in-depth editing videos on Final Cut Pro tricks and tips, check out this video right here. You're sure to love it, and it's really going to help you. Alright, let's get back to the tips. Saved presets. If you aren't able to afford LUTs, or you just don't like the way that they look on your work, you can basically create your own LUT or look to put on your video so that it looks the same way every time you shoot and add it to that video clip. Here's what I mean. Go over to the effects window, scroll down to color presets, choose one that you like, and now go up to the color board and reduce the strength of the color preset until it is what you want it to look like. It's as simple as that. When you're satisfied, click Save Effects Preset underneath the inspector window. Rename the preset. We'll name it Bright and Vivid. Choose a category to put it in. We'll put it in, let's see, color presets, because that's where everything else is, right? Click Save. And now when you go over to the inspector window inside of the color presets tab, your bright and vivid color preset is there, and you can drop it on your video, and you'll always get the same uniform look every time you use this color preset, as long as you're in the same setting with the same lighting. Tip number 4, color coding your timeline. Now, if you've ever been shooting for a big project, you know how hectic it can be, and sometimes in order to see exactly what's going on, where this sound effect starts and where it ends, and where this audio clip begins and where this video clip ends and begins, you have to expand your timeline. Then you have to sift through all the assets on the timeline. Well, now Final Cut Pro has made it easy where you can color code the different assets, so now you can pinpoint which assets is which. Now, this is one of my favorite tricks or shortcuts or tips. If you look at this timeline, everything is one color. It's blue. You got the dialogue, you have the music tracks, all of them are the same color. So let's say we want to assign some rules. Let's take the music track. We right click that, go over to assign rules, and then we can change the color of the audio track. What about this voice track? Well, first we want to detach the audio, right click, assign audio roles, and then click dialogue. It's already blue, so let's give it another color. Assign audio roles, edit roles, and now when we go to the dialogue, we can click expand on this color wheel, and there you go. You can choose the color that you want the dialogue to be. Click apply, and now all of the dialogue on this timeline will be purple. Let's say you want to add in a sound effect. So you grab a sound effect from the sound effects library or wherever you get your side effects. Place it on the timeline. Right click it. Assign audio roles. Edit roles. And now you can go to sound effects or effects. Click the color wheel and select the color that you want. And by the time as you get done assigning all of these audio and video roles, you have a beautiful looking timeline that you can pinpoint where each sound effect or video asset is without having to open up the timeline too much and then close it back to continue editing. Tip number 5, and it's kind of a helpful one. It's the Shift B shortcut. Okay, here we go with the Shift B shortcut, or as I like to call it, the double blade. Now let's just stack these clips up on top of each other as if we had a lot of clips in the timeline. If we click just this one clip, only that clip is spliced, not the other two. If you want to splice all of the clips, press B with a shortcut blade and then hold down Shift, and look at what happens. You get a double blade, hence the name double blade. And now if you select all of these clips, they all have been spliced, and you can move them, and you can click Option W to create a space and add whatever you need to put in the middle of there. So it's a great shortcut tip when you need to splice multiple clips that are layered on top of each other. Tip number 6 is sure to ease your headache when editing, and it's expanding the space on your timeline, especially when you only have one monitor. Okay, sometimes you might be using a computer. You may have a small laptop screen. It may only be 11 or 12 inches, and you really need as much space to see what's going on as possible. Now you can move these windows around, but it still doesn't give you adequate space on the actual timeline because the audio meter is in the way and the effects browser is in the way. So what do? You can click the audio meter and it goes to this position underneath the viewer window. Now you won't be able to see the actual decibel levels, but at least it'll be out of the way and you can always check it later. And what you want to do is, if you want to expand the timeline and have as much space as possible, go up above the inspector window and double click, and voila, it truncates the inspector window, giving you more space on the bottom of the screen to see your full timeline, making your workflow that much easier. It's only right that I save this one for the last, and it's batch exporting. Now sometimes you may have 3 or 4 projects or timelines that you have to export to make up an entire series or an episode. But now Final Cut Pro has made productivity a priority. Okay, batch exporting. Sometimes you have multiple timelines that you need to export in order to complete your project. So instead of exporting them one at a time, click one, hold down shift, and then select as many as you need to. Right click, share 3 projects in this instance, master file, and then export them to the destination folder of your choice. And now all 3 of the timelines will be exported without you having to go over them one at a time. And now you can go find something else to do in the meantime. However, pro tip, make sure the destination folder where you're sending the videos has enough space. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and make sure to share this video to all your friends who you know can benefit from these kinds of tips and tricks. I'm Rob, and I'm going to see you in the next video.